I'm joined now by Nick Maximov, who will compete this Sunday in Portland, Oregon, when he faces Joe Baize in a grappling bout. Nick, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, good. Thank you for the time. Excited to have you on.
Thank
I
you.
guess my first question is, with the whole world on lockdown right now, how is this grappling event taking place? I know Dana White has been really trying to get the UFC, the first promotion, back in there and having a show. This is actually going to be on UFC Fight Pass, if I'm not mistaken. So just tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know that much actually quite yet, but I don't even know the location or anything yet. All I know is what I was told. There's only gonna be 4 people in the area. It's gonna be like a ref, a doctor, and the 2 competitors. So that's about all I know so far. I don't know where it is or anything. I know it's in Portland area, but I don't know where. It's crazy. It's cool that show's still doing it. In my opinion, it's giving something for people to watch. I mean, otherwise, yeah, I don't know what else people would be doing on a Sunday. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's cool though. Yeah, yeah. It'll be a cool event. Hopefully, it gets a lot of eyes and it'll be fun.
It's got some big names on this card. I've interviewed Chris Lacioni a couple of times, Bellator fighter,
Yeah.
also former UFC standout Jake Ellenberger. There's some good names on this card. Do you know how they're going to separate you as far as when you're getting ready to go out there and compete? Are you guys going to be in different areas of like locker rooms or outside? Do you have any
See,
idea?
I don't. Yeah, I don't even know how they're gonna do that. It's kind of crazy. I mean, I literally know nothing. I just know it starts at 3, and you gotta be somewhere probably by like 1, and that's the show. But I really have no idea, like if we get a warm up area or what the deal is. But it's just kind of it'll be jiu-jitsu, so it's a little bit more laid back, you know. But yeah, I have no idea how they're doing it or anything. It's just cool that show's still doing it, in my opinion.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Now you have an extensive wrestling background, also BJJ. Now you're an undefeated mixed martial artist, 4-0 as a pro. You're going up against the guy that is a black belt in BJJ. Does he specialize in this, or do you feel like you're still going to be able to hold an advantage in some way here in this fight?
I mean, he definitely is a specialty in like leg locks. From what I've seen, he's a special, especially from where he comes from and where he trains out of. He's a specialist in like just pretty much the lower half of the body. But he's a black belt, so he's obviously good at everything. But it'll be a good match. I know he's got a lot of experience. He's a little older and everything, and it'll be kind of like the young kid versus like the more experienced guy. You know what I'm saying? So it'll be cool. I think that's what's intriguing about it. You know, I'm just kind of getting in there with the guy who's been going against the best for 10 plus years, whatever, or so. So that's really exciting to me, really intriguing.
I know obviously you really want to further your MMA career, and that is, where your heart's at and where your future is at. But do you
Yeah.
still get quite as excited for a grappling match as you do MMA, or is it a little different?
Oh, I'm just excited to compete right now. I was supposed to fight in March and April, and that didn't happen. So I'm kind of like, I was super bummed, but now I'm like, oh, I got something to do. So that's exciting. If it was probably everything was normal, I'd be like, whatever about it. But I think it'll get a lot of attention. You know, go out there, get a good finish, get a good win. I think that's what's really intriguing, and that'll bring a lot more attention my way, more than anything. So I mean, for this in particular event, I'm pretty excited. But yeah, and otherwise, I mean, jiu-jitsu's cool and all. I've just loved it. I've always done it my whole life, So kind of, oh, it'll be fun. Yeah.
Now, Portland, Oregon is where this is taking place. How long of a drive is that from where
Oh,
you're
we're
at?
flying, I think.
You're flying. Okay.
Yeah, driving, that's like a 8 to 9 hour drive, maybe 10. Like, yeah, that drive, I'm not doing that drive.
Yeah, excuse my ignorance with the geography as far as out there on the West Coast. I did tell you before I went live, I did live in California, but never been
Yeah,
to Oregon. I knew it was relatively close, but yeah,
it's a
flying would
nice
make
place.
sense. Yeah, okay. If it is that far, flying makes sense. Who's making the trip with you out there?
I've been I think my pops is for sure going, but I've been talking to a few people on my team, like Nathan and Chris and all of them, and they might come out. But the problem is just if you can't have any coaches or anything or any teammates in there, it's kind of, I won't say pointless, but it's just like, what are they gonna do?
Right.
Sit in the car and watch. Like they can just do that at home and save the money, save the trip. So yeah, I don't know. We've talked about it, but at the same time, I'm like, they just save the time and save everything.
Yeah, makes sense. Now, I want to talk a little bit more about your MMA career here in a minute, but I want to backtrack as to what has been going on with you recently during this pandemic. Obviously, with everything shut down, what has life been like for you?
Sorry, there's that loud ass thing in the back. I don't know if you could hear it.
A little bit. That's all good.
Um, I've been just kind of like doing my own thing. Like I'll get people. What we do is we get like I'll text somebody or call somebody, and we'll be like, let's go train and whatnot. And then we go train, and then I've been lifting and working out with my buddies though. Like we've been running. I have a couple buddies that wrestle that are back home, so we go out and wrestle and whatnot. Um, it's kind of difficult though. You can't get a group of like 4 or more people because not that many people can do it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's just a pain in the ass, to be honest.
Have you been able to maintain your weight during this, or have you had to be a little bit more diligent with what you eat?
I tried it, man, but I got a little heavy. I've been getting kind of heavy. But I still work out, but the problem is I get just so bored. I'm like, I got to eat because I got nothing else to do. So I'm going to eat because I'm bored. You know what I'm saying?
I do. Unfortunately, I do. What's your weight at right now?
I got to be probably like 217 or whatever. But I got to be, my bad. I got to be like, I think 205 for this weekend. But I was at like 225, dude. I was just getting kind of heavy and stupid.
So as far as making that cut, it's not going to be any issue for you, even though the fight is on Sunday.
Yeah, not at all. It'll be smooth sailing, honestly. It's a gentleman's agreement, but it's more like just the principle of making it. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm doing it. But yeah.
Now, I know you've been playing sports your whole life. I believe you also played football back in the day. Do you are you missing sports as much as I am right now, as far as watching on TV?
Yeah, dude, it's hard. It's kind of like, well, I just don't know what else to watch right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't mind. Like, I would watch basketball, stuff like that. But, like, right now, man, I'm like, there's nothing to watch, like boxing or something. But there's just nothing to freaking do. So, yeah, it's killing me a little bit inside. But in football being over, so it kind of sucks. But
who's your team?
I like, well, when I played in high school, my favorite guy was J.J. Watt. So I was always following the text. I follow players more than I follow teams. So I've always been following J.J. Watt. So he was my dude. That's why I was number 99 in high school. And I played the same position. I'm like, I want to be like J.J. Watt. So that's kind of my thing, So.
When you were in high school, did you have dreams of, playing in the NFL, or did you always know?
Hell yeah.
You did?
Hell yeah. I thought I was going to play. Here, I'm going to back. My bad. I thought I was going to play. I had a couple like Division I offers to go play. I was supposed to play or like I talked to a few teams, but they wanted me to switch spots, and I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to move from DN to like free safety because of my size. And I had a couple people talk to me from Arizona State and Florida State, and like just comment, like saying, if you want to switch positions, this and that. Because I was small, I was like 186 foot, 185, and I was playing DN. You know what I'm saying? But I was doing good at it. I just needed to gain some weight. I need to be like how much I weigh right now. You know what I'm saying? And coming out of high school, it's a little difficult to do. So,
sure.
Yeah.
When did you know that MMA was going to be your future?
Well, I've been doing MMA probably since I was like 11, 12 years old. So it's always been my main priority. But it's just football was more appealing. You know what I'm saying? Because it's it's football. It's like, you don't have to do much. You can be lazy and you can still go out there and be a killer. Whereas MMA is everything's more disciplined. So, but MMA has always been the goal. Like, it's always kind of been the goal. There's never been a doubt or a slip,
And you've obviously been training at the Nick Diaz Academy. I mean, look, Nate and Nick, everyone knows who they are. They're two of the most popular mixed martial artists in the world. What has it done for your confidence to train there with those guys and learn under them? And I hear Nate saying things like, you're the future. You're going to be a big star. I mean, that must do a lot for your confidence.
Of course. It's kind of like whenever I'm down or like on myself, I'm pretty hard on myself. I always just think about people like that, or just teammates, or everything kind of just being uplifting. Because sometimes if people you can't find it in yourself, other people can see it in you. You know what I mean? And when they can do that, it kind of brings you up. So that means the world. That's like what you. The goal's not anywhere near finished, but that's what you work for. Is people like that saying just little things like that. When I'm 21, I was like 21 years old when he said that. 20 years old. You know what I'm saying? And now I'm like 22, and it's like he's still just moving up. So it's kind of like that's the crazy thing, is just at a young age kind of realizing like, oh, I got this much potential from a guy who everyone respects.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Now you're fighting at light heavyweight. Nate and Nick, fight at, Nick obviously would fight at 170 a lot. Nate 155 and 170. How big is there a big size difference between you guys when you're training?
Yeah, a little bit. Nate walks around pretty heavy, but yeah, there's definitely a size difference. I'm trying to go 205 and 85. I think might try to hit 85. It's just the upper the weight guys are kind of greener to the sport, in my opinion, especially when it comes to grappling. Like they're just not as good. So it's kind of like I don't know. I just don't until I see a need to go down. It's like what? Why? You know what I'm saying? I got all these first round finishes and I'm like, I don't even know. And all of these guys don't even really want to fight. So I don't, yeah, I don't know. I don't really see anything to go down, reason to go down, you know.
Has Nate or Nick, when you guys have been in there getting work together, have you ever ticked them off and they've stalked and slapped you before?
Hell no. But then when I spar with Nate, like sparring boxing with Nate, he definitely talks. He talks shit for sure. He definitely talks, and that's funny. I mean, it kind of pisses me off, but it's funny.
Yeah. Do you think you'll ever implement that into your game?
Oh, I do. I do. When I spar other people, I definitely do. Because it's just how so it's like trickling. It's like trickle down like type of effect where he starts talking to me, then I'm like, oh, I can't say nothing back. It's Nate, Then I'll go spar someone else and I'll start talking to them because it gets in your head. You're like, he'll be like, is that all you got? Just shit like that, and you're like, oh my gosh, you just want to go harder, and then you just get tired, and it's hilarious. But yeah, it's funny.
I gotta ask too, like what you think the future is for both of them in the UFC. I know Nick's been out for a while, but I mean, I'm a hardcore junkie fan. I mean, I do this journalism thing. That's what my degree is in, and I really want to get to the top of the game as far as that goes. But I got into this because I'm a fan of MMA, and I've always loved watching them compete. Are we gonna see Nick back in the octagon?
That's gonna be up to him. But I mean, we talk about it, but we don't. But it's kind of gonna just be up to him. I mean, like I said the other day, I don't know if I put my money on it right now, but when the time comes, it'll come. But I mean, at the same time, I don't know, man. I really don't know. I know Nate wants to fight soon, but I don't know about Nick. Yeah, Nick, he's just kind of. I think he's enjoying life. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I don't know. Me personally, I wouldn't put my money on it right now.
Got you. Now, obviously, the finish of the Nate Jorge Masvidal fight, very controversial. Everyone knows Nate has a bunch of scar tissue above his eyes. I mean, he was bleeding pretty profusely in that Conor fight, and he came back and won that first one. So I felt the stoppage was a little premature. Is Nate still upset about that stoppage?
I think it's. I think the thing is, we know he was gonna win, and we all know that those are his rounds. And he had more injuries than that. He had a really bad knee injury. I mean, he's just getting it fixed, and his eye, he's getting all this work done on it. And it's like people don't know there's a lot more in that. That camp was probably. I mean, he was beating up that camp, and people have no idea. And it's like, it's not my place to say anything, and I'm not going to go into detail. But there was a lot of things where almost preventing him from training. And so I think that, I mean, Jorge, yeah, I don't know. If they fought again, I think Jorge would be in trouble. But, like, quicker, like second round, like Conor the first time, I think that's my opinion. But, yeah, I don't know. I could go on about that. But, you know what I'm saying? I have a completely different opinion about that. But, yeah, that fight, it sucks how that ended. I don't know why a doctor would stop. It's the baddest BMF fight. So why are you stopping it?
Exactly. I actually had a couple of buddies over to watch that pay-per-view, and we were both on opposite ends. I was rooting for Diaz. My friend was rooting for Masvidal. Yeah, man. And it was crazy because I pride myself on being objective, and I thought my friend was as well, but he just wasn't looking at it, realistically. I mean, obviously, these are prize fighters at the top of the game, and they're competing for this BMF belt. I did not like that stoppage, and I completely disagree with that. Well, hopefully Nate gets back into the cage soon and gets a high level fight. God willing, that does happen. I do want to ask you too. I spoke with your manager Joel, and he told me that you are a pescatarian as well. I want to ask how that affects you as far as beneficial with training.
Well, lately I've definitely been eating meat because that's all. You gotta eat what you got during this whole quarantine thing. But when I got camps and stuff, I definitely don't eat meat. Like I stopped eating meat when I got this sub thing. I just stopped completely. It's kind of easy, man. It's more of like a lifestyle. I don't know. I enjoy fish a lot. I don't enjoy the feeling of eating a lot of meat than going to train, or after training eat a lot of meat. I don't like the way I feel. So it's more, I wouldn't preach it to anyone. It's more, how do you feel doing it? Like, I don't eat
Gotcha.
dairy or anything. I haven't done that in a long time, and I'm like, I don't want to do it because I don't feel good while I do it. You know what I'm saying? So it's more like a field thing. And I still have a lot of energy and stuff. I mean, I still get all my supplements and stuff in me, but I don't know. It's just me, you know. It's how I feel. I like it, you know.
Yeah, well, that's good. I mean, if it's benefiting you and it's helping you as your career evolves, that's what matters most, especially individually. I know
Yeah,
everyone does their own thing, but interesting to hear talking to someone that does try to follow that pescatarian diet. Now, you are
yeah,
coming off a round one RNC in January. That was your last MMA fight.
yeah.
Tell me a little bit about, I guess, how you're feeling now leading into this grappling match when you haven't really been getting the working that you normally would.
I feel good. It's just like I'm just ready to fight again. Like, that's about it. I don't know. I don't even want to. Yeah, it's just hard because it's hard to train like that right now with this whole thing going on. It's just, yeah, I don't know. It's just difficult. It's a weird little like time period right now. You know what I'm saying? So it's just not. I'm just not where I'd want to be. If that answers your question, I don't know. It's
Sure.
just like, it's just weird. It's just weird right now. So I'm just making the best of what I got. You know what I mean? Or trying to.
When life does get back to normal and MMA events are scheduled across the country, I know you said that you wanted to go fight overseas somewhere.
Yeah.
Is that something that you're looking to do soon? Would you like to do that in the summertime? If
Yeah. Yeah, I do that next week. I do it next week. I mean, that sounds like bad. I mean, who else is doing that right now? Like, everyone's waiting to get these big shows. It's like, why not go fight somewhere else if you can? You know what I mean? Or why not go to Japan, Taiwan, or Singapore, or something like that, and go fight? Like, why are people waiting for these weird opportunities? It's like, you don't got time to wait. You don't got time to waste or anything. Like, you got to go. You know, that's how I'm feeling. I'm feeling like I'm in a rush to go. I mean, I might not be, but I'm like, I want to get this done and over with and rock. You know?
is there a certain promotion you have your eyes on?
Nah, I just want to get. I think this is the thing. If for UFC, the only competitor right now is really Bellator. But if you go to like One or Ryzen, any of those two things, I think overseas, I don't think that's competing with UFC at all. I think you're just getting your name out there. I could be wrong, but I mean, I don't think so. You know, doing one of those two events would be, I think, badass. Soccer kicks and everything. That'd be cool.
How close do you feel like you are to signing with the UFC or maybe getting on Contender Series or something like that?
Yeah. I don't even know, to be honest. I thought this fight could have done it. I was thinking a fight in March would have done it. I mean, it's just like time will tell, and it's kind of annoying, but because it's like I'm trying to fight everybody. I haven't said no to anybody, and it's like, if people could realize that, that would help me a lot. But no one does. They only see who I fought, and it's like, no, I've tried fighting so many people and calling out so many people, but it just doesn't even matter. No one even looks at that, you know. So I don't know. I was hoping this last call do it, and I know they got fights. You know, if this whole thing happens and they can get fights during the like this whole quarantine thing, it's like I'll be ready whenever. You know what I'm saying? If you have someone drop out, it's like I'm there. You know,
How do
no,
you feel your skill set right now matches up with the fighters at 185 or 205 in the UFC?
I think that's why I'm such an eager rush to get in, because I'm like, these guys aren't good. You know, I'm like, I could be all those guys. In my opinion, I think I could be all those dudes. And that's just, I train with hella good dudes. I train with world class like boxers, kickboxers, world champion jiu-jitsu guys, Division One wrestling. I do it all, and it's like, I don't know. I just see these guys, and they just look, especially the upper weights, man. They just look kind of sloppy, you
So
know.
when you look at like the top five at 205 right now, obviously John Jones is the champ. He had a couple of very close fights his last two matchups against Dominic Reyes and
Yeah,
Thiago Silva.
yeah.
If you got a chance to step in to the UFC and sign a contract and you beat a top 15 guy and you match up against one of those elite fighters at the top of the weight class, you really feel like you're going to be able to get in there and just do your thing.
Well, yeah. Look at it like this too. Also, all the guys Johns has had trouble with are guys who moved up from middleweight to light heavyweight. Like, all the guys, the last three guys he's had trouble with, Anthony Smith, Santos, or whatever, and Reyes. Like, Reyes, I think, was an early middleweight. Santos and Smith came up from middleweight like 2 years ago or whatever, ran through the division. Like, it's funny because I really think that's exactly how I feel. Like a smaller guy moving. If you start small and you move up in the weight class, you have that small guy type of style, and that gives a lot of bigger guys trouble when they start at a bigger weight. So that's how I think. I think I could compete with those guys for sure, no doubt, no doubt. It's just I haven't had to show any other skill set. I don't have to. Why? It's like take the path of least resistance. You know what I'm saying? Why go out there and bang it out with someone when I know I can just tap around 20 seconds?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I got nothing to prove to anybody. I can just go in the gym and box, which is what I do. I don't need to go out there and bang it to prove it to anybody. But if when push comes to shove and I have to do it, then I'll do it. But like right now, why risk it? Why risk getting a flash knockout, especially at this weight class?
Sure. When you look at the fighters at the top of the game right now, is there someone that you compare yourself to? Is there someone that you feel like you have a similar skill set or a style to?
I just think I'm different. I like to think I grab some of everybody and put it in one. Like I'll grab a little bit of Khabib, a little bit of Nate, a little bit of this guy, a little bit of like, who else? Like a John maybe, or like an Israel. Just try to put it all in one. All my favorite fighters or all the fighters I like to watch, and just put it in one. You know what I'm saying? That's the goal. Just put it all in one. So I don't know if I can really compare myself, but I just like to think I'm unique in the sense of I just want to put it all in a box and just whatever happens, happens.
Gotcha. I also understand that you called out Logan Paul. Why?
I didn't even call it like that. It was more like people were talking to me about it, and I'm like, I don't know if I'd fight him. I was saying this the other day. I don't think I'd fight him in an MMA fight because you look at people who just come, like, look at Aaron Pico. Look at, you know what I'm saying, CM Punk, these dudes that want to fight. They go to first fight against a guy who has fight. I have 10 fights. You go against a guy with someone like that, you're going to get worked quick. You know what I'm saying? That's just the name of the fight game. I said, I'd box him. I'm not going to fight him because that's just pointless. You know what I'm saying? You see everyone come in 0-0, go against the guys with like 8 fights, 9 fights. It's like they're going to get worked. You know what I'm saying? It's just, that's kind of funny to me. I would fight Dylan Dennis, so that's the only reason why I'd want to really fight in like Bellator or something is because of Dylan Dennis. That's the only dude, but I think that'd be a great fight. But he's way more one-dimensional than me or anything, you know. But I'd box Logan Paul just for some fucking shit.
Yeah. Right. Definitely will get a lot of attention, I'm sure. When you look at just what you hope to accomplish in 2020, just tell me what if you could have like a genie that could pop right out of a lamp and just grant you a wish, what would you like to have happen by the end of this year?
For this crap to be over with, and hopefully we can be fighting in the UFC by the end of the year, dude. Because this thing is dragging on, and I'm like, I need a fight. It's been like 3 months, dude. And I'm like, it's killing me. I'm like so bored, dude. And it's just like, yeah, I don't know.
I
would just want it to end, but yeah.
Well, listen, I appreciate the time. I'm excited to watch you compete on UFC Fight Pass this Sunday in a grappling match against Joe Baize here for SUG Submission Underground 13. It's their 13th event here. Before I let you go, man, if there's anyone you'd like to thank or any sponsors you have.
Thanks to Urban Water. They're my water company right here. They sponsor me. Represent is a t-shirt company. I'm wearing them right now. And then I have a little deal with the Suja Juice Company that I'm kind of got a sponsorship with right now. So shout out to them, you know, my academy and everything, and the fam and everything. So yeah, that's about it.